Hello everyone. Welcome to Jacob Webinars. My name is Roman Minnerson. I'm happy to see you all here. Happy to have you all here. Today we have yet another webinar, and I'm really glad that you are with us. So doesn't matter if you're with us the first time or not the first time, we're glad for you to be here, and I hope you will enjoy our today's session because we prepare for you a lot of useful stuff, and I'm really hope that you like our webinars for that one. So if you can hear me well or see me well, please type something to the chat. I will see it. And I will know that I'm here not alone, and somebody else is here as well. So I see some messages coming to YouTube channel, and yeah, I see some messages in our VR community. So just a reminder, we have two chats basically. Both of them we will look at during our webinar. So one of them are on VR community platform. You may find the link in the description of this video, and another one right here on YouTube. So both of them are visible for us, and we see them. So before I invite here our today's speaker and we discuss a bit about our today's topic and what we will discuss here, I want to remind you that to receive notifications about our webinar, it will be good for you to subscribe for this channel, click the bell button, and then you will receive notifications about all our webinars. Also, you may subscribe for our community on VR community platform. So we have there not only webinars, but also digests regarding Java news, regarding Java world, and the podcast which calls Late Night Java. New episode is there, so you may find it somewhere. So a lot of stuff is there on community page, so please subscribe there and you will find it here. And also last but not least, after this webinar, you will receive the feedback form if you register for this webinar on VR community platform. Please find a couple minutes to fill this feedback form. It's really important for us. We read all your feedbacks, all your thoughts on how can we make our webinars better. So please take time for that, and would really appreciate for that. And so that's what I wanted to share. So let's not waste any more time. Let me invite here our today's speaker, Vadym Vlasenko. Vadym, hello.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you well, and we will be not alone with Vadym today here. Today I have a helper, helping hand, let's say. It's Tatiana Borovko. Tanya, hello.
Hi guys, nice to have all you here today.
Yeah, so Tanya will play a moderator role for this talk, and she will help me with collecting your questions. So just as a reminder, I will remind you a couple times because not everyone. Listen carefully. So we have two chats. In both of them, you write your questions, and there will be time in the webinar where we will ask your questions. So, Vadym, let's come to you. So can you share with us a couple words what your webinar will be about?
Yeah. First of all, hi everyone, guys. Thanks for joining this session. I'm Vadym Vlasenko, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this discussion on a topic that has become very important in today's technology-driven world. It's about modernization, legacy applications for the cloud. This is our topic for today.
Yeah, just a second. I haven't I haven't shared your screen yet. So just a couple of words before we start the webinar itself. So for whom this topic will be useful in your opinion?
In my opinion, it would be interesting for all engineers. Especially, it will be interesting for solution architects as well, because modernizing applications to the cloud is a wide topic to discuss, and there are a lot of problems, challenges, and maybe I can suggest some tips what to do with that. And it can be also interesting for Java developers as well, because I will provide some details about tools which can be useful for analyzing applications, especially Java applications. I mean, assessment, analyzing for frameworks, libraries, etc. And it can be useful.
Yep, and I think the most vital part here is that this is the real experience. This is not kind of theory, this is pure practice.
Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be a painful practice.
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, we have some comments already in the chat that legacy applications may be old, but their values is timeless, and legacy means that it brings money. Well, for sure. Okay, so I think we may dive to the webinar itself. So let me share your screen first. Okay, it's here. We have it here. Okay, guys, again, have a good webinar. Good luck to all of us. And let's go. Vadym, good luck.
Yeah, hi everyone again. So the topic for today's discussion is modernizing legacy applications for the cloud. And let me tell you a few words about myself and why I think why I think I may talk about this topic. So I'm solution architect at EPAM, and during last 7 years, I worked closely with cloud platforms, especially with AWS. And last 2 years, I worked for the cloud migration program for several biggest insurance accounts at EPAM. I have several certifications which help me to be an expert in this area. For example, AWS, TOGAP, and Software Engineering Institute. At the bottom, you can find my work email address, and you can reach me out in case of any questions. So let's move to our agenda for today. So today I'm going to talk about key aspects of migration to the cloud. First of all, why companies are moving to the cloud and what is the key benefits of doing that. We are going to discuss migration strategies and challenges which we face during this process and how to overcome them. And I will share details about existing tools which can make our life easier. And I will provide a short demo session to demonstrate how it works. So let's get started and learn more about reasons why companies are moving to the cloud. So as we all know, legacy applications have been a backbone of many organizations for years and have played a critical role in their day-to-day operations. However, rapid advancements of the technologies and shift towards cloud computing, organizations are now faced with the challenges for modernizing their legacy applications to meet business needs. So you may think that cloud platforms are not new in 2023, and every company has already moved to the cloud, but it's not entirely true. It's not a decision that can be made lightly, as it involves several critical steps and requires a deep understanding of organization business needs, IT environment, and cloud ecosystem. So that's why, according to this report, which you can see on slide, for 2022, only 50% of organizations have moved their workloads to the cloud. And from year to year, companies increases the usage of cloud platforms. So let's take a look at key benefits of adopting cloud migration. First of all, I would like to highlight one of the main reasons of moving to the cloud is reducing operational and IT costs. There are costs for on-premise servers, maintenance costs, and huge license costs. For example, Oracle database, IBM DB2, mainframes, and so on. And as you know, in cloud, you pay as you go. Of course, you may probably say that cloud can also be expensive, and there is no doubt. That's why cloud migration program exists to suggest the best options for migration and modernization to the cloud to achieve maximum business value. Another important benefit is faster time to market. In case of adding a new application or product with relevant features to the market, you don't need to allocate, buy, and maintain physical infrastructure. Process of development and deployment of new components using managed cloud services much faster. That's why a software development life cycle can be reduced. The time for that can be reduced. Also, finally, bullet points is scalability, security, and creation of new value drivers. So cloud-based environment can quickly scale up and down based on organization needs, allowing businesses to accommodate high demand without incurring any additional costs for hardware and infrastructure. Also, cloud platforms often comes with built-in security features. For example, encryption and firewalls that can help organizations better protect their data and applications. And as you probably noticed, I used both terms, migration and modernization. And let's take a look what is the difference between them. So on-premises infrastructure may have lots of components, applications, database, byte jobs, etc. All this stuff should be moved to the cloud. And the main question, how? Let's imagine the case when you have a Kubernetes cluster with a bunch of applications on premises. In this example, we can build and run managed Kubernetes cluster in the cloud and move all applications there. In this case, it will be a migration process. But what should we do in case if we have several IBM WebSphere application servers? They can be modernized. To another target stack. For example, IBM Open Liberty or even Spring Boot. Containerize it and moved to the cloud as well. So in this case, it will be a modernization. Another use case can be that WebSphere application can be fully re-architected and moved to the cloud-native approach, for example, serverless, using lambdas, event sourcing, and serverless database solutions. So let's take a look at migration strategies. By the way, maybe any questions so far? Okay, so let's move on. Yep.
In case if you have any questions, do not hesitate to post them into any of chats which is more comfortable for you, and we definitely will find the right time to answer them.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take a look at migration strategies. So here you can see 4 the most popular migration strategies according to 7R approach. There are rehost, replatform, refactor, and rebuild. So the most popular of them, which we used on our accounts, is replatforming. It means that we need to do minimal changes to the code base and to natively run this application in the cloud. As an example, it can be moving WebSphere application to Open Liberty and deploy to the cloud. Also, as an example, it can be upgrading all Spring Boot version to the newest one, to the latest one, and deploy to the cloud as well. So rehost, it's just a lift and shift approach when we containerize the application and deploy it to the cloud. Refactoring is reducing the technical debt and moving to some cloud native approaches. And rebuild or re-architect, it's a fully redesigned and rewritten application to the cloud-based components. Okay, let's deep dive to the steps of modernization to the cloud. So as you can see, there are 5 main steps for this process. Discovery, implement, test, UAT, and deploy. So discovery, this is the phase when we need to analyze and assess the system, align with stakeholder, and design a prelim solution. Implementation, when the actual development and implementation process of design solution happen. Then we have testing, UAT. During these phases, we need to verify and validate that the target application, target solution works as expected, and there is no discrepancies between target and the source. And deploy, this is the real production release of that application and cutoff of the legacy application on-premise. So until this moment, we discussed the benefits of moving to the cloud, the actual steps on how to do that. And you may say, it's clear. I don't see any problem here, and just move all your workloads to the cloud. And you may actually ask, why companies moving to the cloud so slowly? And I can answer you, because of lots of challenges and constraints around that. So let's take a look in details what challenges we have. So I divided popular challenges into several categories, actually three categories: technical, business, and enterprise constraints. So about the first one, technical. All technical challenges related to absence of documentation, legacy technology stack, and lack of people who can even run it or describe how it works. So let me provide an example from the real life. We had a request from one of the insurance departments to migrate set of applications from mainframe to the cloud. When we asked for any documentation for setting up sessions with application team, we got pretty the following answer. So, sorry, unfortunately, we don't have any documentation. Last active development finished 10 years ago, since there is no application team. People who knew how to deploy that application left company a year ago. So, and what to do in that case? One of the options is spend much more time on the assessment process and discovery process. And of course, the timeline of migration for those components significantly grows. So the second category is business challenges. So business challenges related to communication with stakeholders, workshop sessions, and priority for migration from the business side. So another case, again from real life. So top management of one company decided about the strategy to move all workloads to the cloud by 2025. And they hired EPAM to help with that. When we started to analyze and create portfolio of all those applications and components, we didn't get any support from some departments because they didn't have a capacity for that. Moreover, due to active development of application from application side, from application team side, our migration postponed several times. Also, might be a problem for obtaining access to different components, for example, even to deploy application to the cloud or to release some minor changes to on-premise. And the last one is enterprise constraints. It's about security, privacy, and some policy around the enterprise. For example, API first, cloud first, allowed list of technologies which we can use during the migration or during the development at all. And again, real example. Before actual production release to cloud, we need to pass a security threat model assessment, and mitigate all potential risks by STRIDE methodology. In addition, it requires to pass a privacy impact assessment and prove that all personal data is stored securely. Also, a need to review disaster recovery requirements for the application tier, decide whether they are covered by the designed solution, and so on and so on. And due to all these factors, I would say that discovery phase of the discovery and design phase is one of the most difficult. And I would like to deep dive into this discovery phase and take a look what steps we have here. So there are 4 main steps for this phase: application assessment, target analysis, migration complexity, and effort estimation. So the first one is application assessment, and during this phase, it's necessary to analyze the technical stack of the source application, analyze related components and dependencies. The second one is target analysis, the step to analyze and choose the target technology stack for modernization. For instance, we have a Red Hat application which can be modernized to the new version of the Red Hat or Quarkus or even to Spring Boot. Thus, we need to evaluate options and choose the best one according to input aspects. So the third one is the step when we need to identify complexity and preliminary scope for modernizing to choosing target stack. And the last one, we need this is effort estimation, and we need to build a roadmap with timelines for modernization and discuss it with the client. And the problem here that all these activities are the manual process, which is time-consuming and might be not so accurate. And that's why the discovery phase may take from 1 week up to several months. So how to solve it? And one of the options here is automate as much as possible for these discovery activities. And here I would like to share some tools which we found during our research from the market and discuss what they can and how they can help. But maybe any questions so far about what we discussed?
The first one is kind of, I think, the most common but still interesting one. How can you migrate or move an old mainframe app implemented, for example, in COBOL? So possibly any ideas, any thoughts regarding them?
Good question. Previously on our account where we have worked for, we didn't have such examples. And this is a specific case when we need to analyze and assess the application. And the discovery phase for this migration should be in very details. So it's a good question. And currently it's hard to say what to do with that. So need to take a look deeper.
Actually, yep, I think the first step will be to discover, basically, does
Yes.
it make sense to migrate or to modernize it in general? Okay, thank you. Another question. How we will decide moving data stores, considering its security and scalability? So it will be migrated or modernized?
Mm-hmm. I would say it depends on the source data store stack, right? For example, in case if it's Oracle database, of course, for example, in AWS, we have also Oracle, but we don't want to pay for the custom license. And as practice show, all such databases, for example, Oracle DB2, we migrated to the Aurora Postgres. And this is from our experience. We analyzed a lot of the databases and we use schema conversion tool, for example, from the AWS. And each time the best option after the analysis was Aurora Postgres. But I'm not saying that it's a silver bullet, but each time we need to take a look at source. What is the database, right? For example, Postgres can be easily migrated to the Postgres. But in case of DB2, Oracle, and even Sybase, need to take a look. And as I said, from our experience, the best approach is Aurora Postgres. It's in case of AWS.
Got it. Thank you. Another question. Does modernization also cover migration in the background?
Good question. It depends on strategy of the company, right? Because it can be divided to several steps. For example, first, if our main goal is moving all workloads from on-premise to cloud, the first and main aim of your work should be migration. And it can be just a lift and shift approach. But from the experience, each those application should be modernized in future. And for each case, we decide whether a modernization can be included to migration process right now, or it will be a better benefit to migrate application first and then modernize it. But migration go first and modernization goes second, I would say, in the following way.
Great explanation, I think. Thank you. And we have actually 3 comments or questions more, but I think that let's leave it to a bit later part in order to allow you to continue your presentation.
Okay, so let's move on to migration accelerators. And as I described the problem previously, we need to automate as much as possible during the discovery phase. And we started research for the market for any migration toolkits which can help us to solve these problems and reduce the time of this discovery phase. So we found 2 potential tools. One of them, Red Hat WindUp application, and another one is IBM Migration Toolkit. So both of them are open source and freeware and can be used by anyone. So they have a similar list of major features. So they both can analyze source code and binary artifacts. They can build application technology report. It means that they show which technologies are used in this application, which dependencies here, what versions of dependencies, and so on. And in addition, they can provide a list of suggestions which need to be done for modernizing to target stack. For example, we can choose during the analysis the target stack. In case of IBM Migration Toolkit, we can choose Open Liberty, and this tool try to analyze and suggest what required changes we need to migrate to the target stack. However, not surprisingly, both toolkits work only for on target stack. For example, Red Hat can analyze for Red Hat or Quarkus, and IBM for WebSphere and Open Liberty. And I believe everybody understands it because they want to engage to continue using their products. So we decided to build a combined toolkit to include all features and capabilities from both toolkits. And let's have a look to extended option what we had. Since Red Hat WindUp is more powerful than IBM, we decided to use it as a baseline and convert all IBM-related stuff to Red Hat tool, for example, rules, etc. So we got admin web application to manage applications, rules, executions and portfolio of those applications. And as the result, we got one tool with supported target stack as Java 11, Java 17. We added rules for Spring Boot. It supports IBM stack, WebSphere, OpenLiberty, Red Hat stack, Quarkus, and Red Hat EAP, and some cloud readiness assessment rules. Also, this tool can partially automate modernization to Java 17 and Spring Boot 3. So this is currently in progress, and we are going to finish it, I believe, in April. Maybe any questions here?
Actually, possibly not for this exact part, but about the migration experience in general. I think this is quite a long comment, but I need to definitely sound it. I got a chance to migrate to two different mainframe applications to modernized applications. However, in both these scenarios, we've used Pivotal Cloud Foundry for both. When the questions were asked why to PCF, not much clarity was here. So it would be great if anyone can explain, is there any connection related to migrating mainframe applications using exactly Cloud Foundry and not Azure or AWS?
I will try to explain this. I will try to explain this decision, and it's related, from my opinion, it's related to enterprise constraints. And I believe, I guess, I know about this account, what we are talking about. And Cloud Foundry used by enterprise companies widely, because it's useful tool to run application from scratch, and it's good start. It's good start for development, and it's convenient way to monitor, to run, to scale applications. That's why Cloud Foundry can be used not as a approach. So Cloud Foundry is just an approach how easily deploy and manage the application, right? But it's not any technology. For example, Spring Boot or OpenLiberty or IBM. This is just a tool to manage. This is a kind of a platform which can be deployed which can use AWS or Azure as a target as well. So and currently on our project, we use Cloud Foundry as well. So, for example, from on-premise environment, we get application and adapt CI/CD configuration for Cloud Foundry and deploy this application using Cloud Foundry to AWS. So, simple answer is I believe this is the enterprise constraint and the license which the company bought. That's why this is kind of the main policy, and I would say Cloud Foundry first approach to develop applications and migrate as well.
Great. Yep. So I see the comment exactly. Organizational constraint was the reason specified. So yep, looks like actually this is a rather important reason which can absolutely 100% change the solution which will be chosen for particular migration process, because this is the constraints which are really important for the customer side. And I will mix up the order of the question because this one I think is interesting for the wide audience almost the most. So the tool you've shared, the window, this tool will be available inside EPAM, or is it external?
So this is external open source product by Red Hat, and anyone can use it outside EPAM or inside EPAM. what we did, we just combined all features and capabilities from WindUp and IBM Migration Toolkit to the single tool. And as a baseline, we used WindUp. So we converted all necessary rules from IBM to WindUp and just extended WindUp by additional functionality. So this tool, which we use right now, will be available at EPAM, and we are currently thinking about pushing those rules to open source as well. So in this case, we need to agree with WindUp whether we can get an approval to merge those rules, but it will continue. I believe we will go to open source, and everybody who needs this tool can use it in future. I think so.
That's great. And actually, we have a lot more questions, but I will choose one more and then we will proceed with the presentation. So the question is, have you read Basecamp article, how they are leaving the cloud? If yes, what's your opinion on that?
Unfortunately or fortunately, I haven't read that article, and I will read after this discussion. I believe it should be interesting.
Okay, great. If you'd like to share your opinion with audience, you could also, as a speaker, use our OrgJaCoVCommunity page below this speech in order to post your comment regarding that and leave your question. And I see
great.
that the link was shared in the chat as well. Thank you, guys.
Great.
Then let's return back to the presentation then.
Okay, so we discussed what we got as a result, and here I would like to highlight some popular scenarios what we have for migration and modernization. And usually our customer preferred IBM products, and here we have them a lot. And the first scenario is moving from IBM WebSphere and IBM DB2 to the cloud. And in this scenario, first scenario is moving from IBM to Open Liberty. And as I said, the best option from moving to IBM to manage database services is Aurora Postgres in case of AWS. The second scenario can be moving from IBM to Spring Boot in case if that source application, don't have a lot of EGB and Java EE stuff. So in this case, it can be moved to the Spring Boot, and as you can see here as Cloud Foundry, and we had that question previously. The third option is moving to the serverless approach in case if our customer wants to redesign and re-architect application from scratch and doesn't want to move to the cloud and then just modernize it. In this case, we can use Spring, for example, as a technology to build serverless applications and use managed services. And the last one is upgrading existing Spring Boot applications. For example, for one of our department, we had 100 plus microservices, which is built using Spring Boot, the old version of Spring Boot and the old version of Java. And we modernizing that application currently to those applications to Spring Boot 3 and Java 17. And in this actually scenario, WindUp is very useful for us. And let's take a look at a real business value of what we achieved using this migration tool. On the left side, you can see a real example from our project. When we did a discovery for the application 2 years ago, that discovery phase has been done manually and took about 30 days. The target, the source stack of that application and components was IBM WebSphere, database, and Java 6. So discovery phase took 30 days. And when we built these custom rules for WindUp, we decided to compare results and try to use this migration tool on that application. And the result is the following. We spent about 2 days to conduct the assessment of the application. And during this assessment, we understood that the target stack should be Open Liberty, the best option for that. And we got from this WindUp tool the prelim estimation. And that estimation for the development was pretty dissimilar. It said that we need about 6 months to migrate and modernize this application. So as you can see, 30 days versus 2 days. And on the right side, this is another example for discovery phase for modernizing Java applications to Java 17 and Spring Boot 3. And as I said, we extended WindUp with the following rules. And usually modernizing, assessment and analyzing what changes we need to modernize application to this target stack, we spent about 15 hours. But using this application, WindUp, we need about 1-2 hours to get a report with all mandatory changes. And yeah, pretty good result, 15 versus 2 hours. And any questions so far? If not, we can move to the demo session.
I will sound 3 more questions which were left from our previous sessions with questions. So actually the first one is not a question but just a kind of statement, I think. A great thing is to be able to migrate fast between Cloud Foundry, Azure, AWS, on-prem. Absence of auto tests playing a great role. So what do you think about that?
Absence, so the statement, as I understood correctly, the statement says that absence of end-to-end tests or automation tests played a great role. Correct?
Actually, yep, this is exactly how it's written.
Maybe it's sarcasm.
Can't say for sure, yeah.
Okay, but I would say this is one of the challenge for migration, because right now our cloud migration program include the step which is very time consuming, where we need to analyze application and build these automated tests to verify that source application, not the target application, works properly without any discrepancies with source application. For example, one of our previous example, when we need to migrate one of microservices to the cloud, and that microservice had a lot of upstream and downstream services. So in that case, if we had end-to-end tests, we could migrate the service faster. Otherwise, we needed to build those automated tests to verify that this service works correctly and the API contract is the same, stay the same. And the data in the response and actions are the same without any discrepancy. That's why I would say end-to-end tests and automated tests play a great role in cloud migration. Even after we migrate service to the cloud, the application team, so we transfer all our developed tests to the application team, and they continue to use it. Moreover, we during the cloud migration, we build and implement performance tests and performance pipeline to verify that when we migrate from one data source, for example, IBM DB2 to the Aurora Postgres, it's database engine change, right? And in this case, we need to verify that all SQL operations and SQL queries work as expected, and performance is not degraded. So that's why we need to build performance test as well to verify that quality of migration is high.
Okay, so I will switch the order of questions again, so we'll leave kind of more common stuff to the end of the session, and for now some more questions about the tool itself. What about non-Java? Any toolset that can analyze multi-text tags?
Multi-text text?
Multi-text, multi-technology stack.
Oh, okay. So this tool, especially for Java, and we have several teams which works only for migrating Java applications. I cannot suggest right now the tools for example, .NET or JavaScript, but we have a cloud program community, and some teams know such tool. So I cannot suggest at this moment, but in case if anyone needs it, I can ask.
Okay, thank you. Does that migration tool takes into consideration libraries which are not compatible with Java 17 and it's necessary to move away from them?
Yes, this tool can analyze, for example, one of the major change is moving from JAVAX to Jakarta. And this application can analyze where it's necessary to change. Moreover, it can analyze, for example, that Lombok 1 version 18 or something, I don't remember exactly, is not supported by Java 17, or this library doesn't support Java 17, and it suggests to upgrade the version of library. Moreover, don't forget that this tool can be extended by your custom rules, and to write the custom rules is just a piece of cake. Need just to understand what you would like to cover, and I can show you this just in a couple of minutes.
Okay, this is, I think, the last request I would like to sound. Please elaborate on discovery report through automation tool and what will be migration steps after that. So I think this is the next part which we are going to demonstrate right now.
Okay, let me open this application. So as I said, WindUp can be run locally. So it's open source tool, and you can just try it locally as well. So there is one simple application to run this product on your local machine, and this is admin tool to manage your applications, projects, executions, and rules. And in this section, I've already added some custom rules, which we created for Spring Boot, and additional rules for Java, and etc. And on projects, I've already created one to demonstrate the report, but I'm going to go to this wizard for creating project and show you what we need to do. So the first step is just the name of the project, and let it be test up second, and the description. So the next one is uploading artifact. So there are several options how to do that. So you can upload binary artifact. It can be jar, ER, or var. You can upload zip archive, and WinDAP automatically unzip that archive and analyze the code base. And the second option is server path. So you can specify the local path to the application, and WinDAP can run analysis on this path. And I'm going to use this option, and you can just check this button, checkbox to say the WinDAP that this is a source code and Java application archive. So moving forward, and here you have options to select the transformation target. By default, it uses application server Red Hat, but we have different. We have cloud readiness rules by the containerization, Quarkus, Oracle JDK to OpenJDK. We can choose OpenJDK rules for 11 and 17 version. We can use Jakarta IE, Open Liberty by IBM, and some rules specific for Azure and Camel. And I will choose OpenJDK 17 containerization, and let it be Jakarta IE. Next, and on this step, WinDAP already analyzed some packages what contained in this application, and you can choose desired packages, but I will leave as is, and it includes all packages. Let's move on. By the way, this application which we would like to analyze, this is just some application from public GitHub, just one of them. And here you can add your custom rules specifically for this execution run, and the rule is XML file in the specific format, and it's easy to write and add. I will leave it as is. And the final step is the final step. One second. Yeah, the final step is to confirm that the target stack the following, and I will choose Spring Boot as well because this is our custom target stack, and leave it as is. Next. And this is the confirmation page that the name the following, the application is the following, and the target stack for applying rules, OpenJDK, Cloud Readiness, Jakarta, Spring Boot, and save and run. And it started the process. Usually it takes about 1 minute for small applications, and 2-3 minutes for medium applications, and 5-7 minutes for large applications. I will go to created one before this before our meeting, and let's open the application report. So here we can see 2 servers which can be applied as a modernization target for this application. And as you can see, WildFly is a better option because some of the technologies are not, it says that some of the technologies need more efforts for the Tomcat, for example. And on this And this is the prelim estimation effort to move to that target stack which we chose here, right, during the wizard. I will explain it a bit later. And here the technology tab, it analyzes that we have some views and MVC, some connections, HTTP, etc., database drivers, and some frameworks, and so on. And here more detailed report of this application. So it says it actually has categories of issues. For example, mandatory, optional, potential, and information. This is just information and details about frameworks and libraries which this application contains. This is just visual representation of the application and issues, and let's move on to the most interesting part. So this is the issues and required changes to migrate to chosen target. For example, Java persistent has been replaced with Jakarta persistent. If we click to this one, we receive all places which need to be updated which need to be updated. And here you can see the source code with explanation why it can be updated and what exactly should be updated. And it's very useful, and even after this analysis, it can be put as a link to the, for example, story or some task for development, and it's easy to work with that. You don't need to find any changes and run it locally to understand, okay, this change should be done as well. And according to this report, you know what to do. This is an example, and one more example. I would like to show you the rule, how it looks like. So this is the XML format for the rule, and this is just when and perform options. For example, when this is what we would like to find, it says that Java class JAVAX is in import location, and what we need to do in this case. This is just an explanation. And here another changes, what we need to move to the target stack. Here are some cloud mandatory rules which need to be applied. For example, hard-coded IP addresses. When migrated environment, hard-coded IP addresses may need to be modified or eliminated, and places where we need to update it. So it's very convenient. And the information tab, this is all frameworks and libraries which this tool analyzes. For example, it analyzes that we have Spring scheduled, Spring data, AOP, and my MySQL driver, and so on. Application details show us the dependencies with versions and some additional stuff. This is the technology portfolio for this application. It says that there are GSP pages, 135, XML, some markups and CSS, and so on. There are a lot of information here. So this is dependency graph. It's nice picture, but from my point of view, it's useless. And all dependency information can be found here on this page with dependencies. I mean, with versions and links to them. So here you can find some GPA report. In case of Java EE application, it will be a JEE report with EGB beans, etc. And here, as we have a Spring Boot application, it analyzed Spring beans, hard-coded IP addresses, and so on. So about the estimation. So all mandatory rules contain some estimation. Let me show you. So this is the rule, and here we have a report tag, which is 1. 1 means 1 story point. And this is just a calculator. It says that there are 132 places where it needs to be changed, and this is just calculate 1 to 142. Our next goals is just to modify this estimation approach to make it more accurate and useful, because right now it says almost 300 story points, but we understand that it's not true, but it also can be useful. Okay, this is about demo. Yeah, the run completed in 1 minute 44 seconds. I will move to the presentation. Oh, sorry. We'll move to the presentation, to the results of our investigation, and to results which we received for this cloud migration program. But before I continue, maybe any questions so far?
And again, I think I will leave the more common stuff to the finishing Q&A session. And for now, one more question about the tool. Can you analyze Glassfish 3 to PyYara 6 migration with this tool?
It can analyze Glassfish. It can analyze WebLogic as well, and Oracle stuff. So need to try. As I said, our main technology stack is IBM, and sometimes it's Red Hat on the account, and we haven't had Oracle yet, but I know for sure that it supports Oracle and other different source stacks. So need to try. We didn't have a chance for that.
Okay, then I think let's move on to the presentation, and all the other questions will be left to the end of the session.
Okay, so just would like to highlight some conclusions. So application migration and modernization to the cloud too long due to some complexity around the technical, business, and some enterprise constraints, but mostly it's about discovery phase and manual process around that. And what we would like to reduce the time and to migrate more and more applications and components during the same time. And what has been done during this process? So we investigated ways how we can automate application assessment, and we found several tools on the market which can be used, and we tested them and built some combined extended tool based on both of them, and integrated those migration toolkit to our cloud migration program. And currently we are extending those rules as well according to our needs. So, and what has been achieved? So we modernization to the cloud becomes much shorter and accurate. And as I showed you on the business value slide, manual discovery took, for one of the application, took 30 days, and the discovery phase using this tool can take a couple of days. And this is a huge advantage in our program. And we can build and store application portfolio catalog for all applications in the single place. It can be this web application web admin console of WindUp, and it's very useful. And each time when we need to remind the information about the tool, we can go to that application and find it. And finally, we received a highly extendable and reusable tool for cloud migration. So, and I would like to share some our next goals, what we would like to do. We are going to extend the list of analysis rules by DB specifics and other frameworks which we face during the migration. In terms of DB specific, I mean, so when we need to migrate application to the cloud, 90% of cases, it goes with database. And usually database engine will change as well. In this case, we need to make specific changes in application, and we would like to find this application using this tool. For example, in WindUp, we choose the target database engine, and it will analyze all places where we need to update SQL from one engine to another. We are going to extend the list of analysis rules by customer-specific needs. For example, it can be migration from New Relic to Datadog, for example, about observability. We are going to automate modernization process for recurrent cases. As I said, currently this tool already can partially automate the process of modernization to Java 17 and Spring Boot, and we are going to finish it. We are going to integrate WindUp with persistent database. Currently, it has in-memory database, and if you deploy this application to container somewhere and redeploy it, you will lose all your information. That's why our plans is just to integrate WindUp with persistent database, for example, AWS, RDS, something like that. We would like to containerize WindUp and try to build the artifact which can be provided to our clients and their infrastructure, and extend list of supported target technologies and goals. And I believe that's it, folks. Happy to share this information with you and ready to answer to your questions.
So let's begin. The question is, could you advise any good training course book with lots of migration cases and challenges to get more knowledge here and be ready to do it at work?
Unfortunately, there is no centralized place where you can learn all this stuff, because you mentioned challenges, scenarios, cases, etc. There is no centralized place. You can find, I believe we have courses on Learn Portal for cloud migration, but it may contain some useful information about process, about steps, but you probably won't find any use cases and patterns, what to do in this case and what to do in that case. And currently we have an idea to build such tool or such space where we can share this information and contribute with other cloud migration programs, where we can combine all this together and put to the single place. And everybody who needs this information can go and find their use cases and patterns and take a look about the challenges related to them. Because right now we have an ask from another account to share an experience how to migrate from DB2 to AWS Aurora Postgres, because just a few accounts have this experience, and we would like to make it some kind of centralized. But currently, I believe it's difficult to find this information or any courses. Maybe on Udemy, but it won't be any specific.
Okay, but yep, hopefully a lot of different sources available for repammers will definitely help to find a lot of information and examples here. And the next question, is there any way to debug application itself and its environment during migration process? As for AWS, it's rather annoying to redeploy everything and monitor CloudWatch for every little change.
If we are talking about remote debugging, I believe it's not the case. Moreover, it can. So, moreover, there might be some enterprise constraints as well. What to do? But about if you are talking migration and modernization, you are able to put some login and observability stuff, and you can check all necessary information. But if you are talking about lift and shift and just containerizing application and moving to the cloud, it's more difficult because in this case you are not able to move. You are not able to put some additional information to the code base. Moreover, not sometimes popular case that you don't know what to put and where. So, of course, you are able to some kind of debugging applications, but using logs and monitorings only. Sorry, but this is the answer.
I think I would recommend here a bit. So in case guys haven't considered this yet, it might be possible to consider, for example, to use such tool as local stack for local testing. So it allows you to build up kind of cloud environment in your local machine and will be able to reproduce at least some cases locally, which would be helpful in order not to restart the whole infrastructure inside AWS. Definitely it might be a bit costly to prepare your own setup for that, but yep, I see the same solution in the chat: test containers plus local stack. Yep, this is almost what I would like to suggest as well. Basically, this might work well enough in case if all the preliminary setup is already built. So basically it definitely will require some time, but it might worth it in case if all the project is going to be placed on cloud, and in case if it's definitely necessary to have a chance to check all the integrations between different services in your local setup.
Just wanted to add some a few words here about test containers and again enterprise constraints. So currently on this project, the test containers are prohibited, and local stack I believe as well. So you cannot use some virtual stuff, virtualization on your local environment. About your local environment, I mean some VMs, which is provided by the client. So it can be prohibited as well.
Definitely, it should be discussed with the customer which exact setup should be used. And yeah, the question is going next: why it is prohibited? So
because when Docker becomes not a free Docker desktop, and the client used Windows virtual machines using Citrix, they decided not to use Docker for VMs and not to provide virtualization for developers and other stuff at all. And this is the policy. this is the policy of the client.
Yep, just several days ago I've heard the similar experience in the Cloud and Action meetup of one of our internal communities, where guys shared their experience that nothing open source is allowed by the customer, so that's why, yep, as we've already discussed, any organizational restrictions are the must, and they should be definitely our kind of point from which we could start in our investigation of the toolset. Okay, then next question will be about, is it difficult or not to convince that the migration to the cloud will save money for support, as an example?
For support, I would like to clarify for support.
So in general, is it difficult to convince the customer that the migration makes sense? For example, in terms of the support costs.
So it's not difficult to convince the customer to migrate to the cloud when it has a business value, right? But in case if, and it depends actually on approach, what you suggest for migration. For example, some of our customers wanted to use lift and shift approach without any modernization. And in that case, some of applications from our point of view should be modernized and moved to the cloud because of some problems with the source stack and with the technical depth. But our customer decided to go as is with lift and shift approach. But we suggested another. But we had the cases when customers wanted to redesign applications from scratch. And I mean, when we recommended redesign an application from scratch, and we convinced them because, for example, they spent $10,000 per month, but with redesign an application, they started to spend about 1,000. So it depends on business value. In case if we suggest just a modern technologies and to reduce technical debt, it may not be confirmed and applied to the customer needs. So it depends, and we need to provide a clear business value why we suggest this but not another.
Definitely, and one of the most vital points here in the most of cases is total cost to own, so it includes a lot of factors which should be considered. Okay, then the next question. So, just a short note, there was a question about are we going to share deck and session recording? Definitely, it will be shared in our OrgJaCoVCommunity event page later after the session. So, one more question, I think we've already answered it, but let's just recap. Is WindUp built for commercial use or it's a PEM internal project?
It's not built by EPAM. It's open source product, and anyone can use it. And it's located in GitHub, public GitHub, Red Hat account. And I will share probably the link later to this source code. And yeah, it's open source. What we did here and what has been done by our side is just extending this product by our needs and needs for the cloud migration. Yeah, okay. just to recap.
And two more questions related to the tool in particular. So, how many rules are in the box? And is there a rules repository and centralized management of it, of this repository?
There are about, I believe, there are about several hundred of rules out of the box. And there is a public WindUp rule set repository in GitHub where you can find all these rules. Yeah, and you can follow on releases by Red Hat, and they release the new portion of rules, I believe, each several months. So if you would like to contribute and add rules, you can go ahead and do that to the public repository. All rules which we created, we haven't shared yet, and we haven't pushed them to any public space. It's located in our internal repositories, but in future we would like to share them, and we need just to decide the proper way for EPAM how to do that.
Okay, yep, one more question about the recording. I've just replied in the chat, and just a note regarding the test containers. Actually, there is test containers cloud, which can help to use test containers in cloud and not having Docker or local environments, but haven't tried that yet. Thank you for the link. The link will be stored in the comment section in the OrgJaCoVCommunity page of the event as well. And one more question. Is WindUp secure enough to use it for bank or insurance company?
Good question. So, good question, actually. So currently it depends where you run it, and as I know, WindUp doesn't send any analytics or any code snippets to inside, like it does Copilot, GitHub Copilot, or Chat GPT. So WindUp might be secure enough, but need to discover this question deeper. I cannot say for sure what exactly. I cannot say for sure whether it sends any reports. I would say no, it doesn't, but need to verify.
I think it would be a nice addition to the your case study for this initiative, so guys would be able to find it later on in some of EPAM resources.
90% is not, but you know.
Okay, yeah, definitely it's really difficult to 100 guarantee something with the open source products, and they should be really deeply investigated. So as of now, I do not see any other questions in the chat, but possibly Roma have something to ask.
I don't have anything to ask. I want to say thank you very much for this great session. So first of all, I want to thank Vadym for his great presentation and answering all the questions. So thank you very much. And also I want to thank Tatiana for moderation of this session and selecting the questions and reordering them. That was really great job. So thank you guys very much for making this session happen.
Thank you. Thank you everyone who's
still
staying with us right now. Even in the recording. So since the session
all
is quite a long one.
Yeah, all these windows for measuring and all the stuff, that was me. Okay, so guys, thank you. Thank you very much for being with us during this webinar. I just want to pronounce it one more time that all the recording and all this stuff will be available on our OrgJaCoVCommunity page and on YouTube, of course. So just subscribe to this channel or subscribe, but not or, and subscribe to our community on OrgJaCoVCommunity to have access to everything which we post there. Thank you very much for everyone who was with us here on this session. Please spend a couple minutes to leave us feedback. You may do it via our email or via feedback form, better via feedback form, which you will receive in your mailboxes. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you had something useful, and hope to see you in our future webinars. So again, thanks for our today's speaker, Vadym Vlasenko, solution architect from EPAM. Thank you, Vadym.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thanks
hope
for
to see you
inviting me.
again. hope to see you again on future webinars. And again, thanks to Tatiana Barokova, who helped us with moderation of this session. Thank you, Tanya.
Yep.
Great
and,
job.
Many thanks to Roman and the JACOV community in general for organization of this absolutely fantastic event.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Hope to see you again. Okay, guys, so that's basically it for this webinar. I hope you love it. Just a small reminder again about feedback and about everything. My name is Roman Meyerson. I'm host of JACOV Community. Hope to see you soon on our future webinars. See you. Bye.